Hey, I'm Guzzo, and Happy New Year! In this video, I'd like to talk about the future, what's coming next, and well, 2026 in general, so buckle up. 2025 was a real slow year for me, until it wasn't. I posted my first video in November, and because of it, I got the chance to meet and interact with lots of incredible artists and creators with whom I am working right now. So in this video, I have the pleasure of announcing some stories that simply wouldn't exist if not for this channel, if not for you and your support, so thank you. But first, let's talk about some stuff you already knew were coming. Kicking it off, some news about Batman Theatum. We actually got a release date now. Almost. No exact date yet, but you can expect Theatrum's Act 1 to be out by February, maybe March, so that's pretty close. That being said, I think this is a good opportunity to talk a bit more about the creative process behind it. Last time, I talked a lot about the references and inspiration behind the story and how I came to write the script. But now, I think it is time to pass the mic to the other half of the project, the artist, Theatum.
Hey everyone, Ferrante here. So, like many Brazilian kids, I grew up really liking Batman. I could go on and on about that, but I don't think Gustavo wants a 3-hour tangent where I, among other things, explain why I own 3 different versions of Batman Year 1. But yeah, long story short, I like Batman. Especially when whoever is making a Batman story explores the gothic side of the Caped Crusader, the noir, the macabre, the pulp. So when Gustavo reached out asking me to draw a Batman fan story that explored the very side of the character, I was thrilled. Theatum to me feels like a stage play based around a Gotham urban legend. It feels fantastical and epic, and at the same time eerie, ominous, and dramatic. So I tried to evoke that feeling through the art, especially in details like Batman's design. Theatrum's version of the Dark Knight is meant to feel cool because, it's Batman, but I also wanted it to feel almost like you're looking at someone wearing a Batman costume, like in a play or an old TV show. I was very inspired, of course, by the classic Bill Finger design from his first appearance in the late 30s, but my actual biggest inspiration is Lewis Wilson's Batman, the first live-action portrayal of the character from the 1943 serial. You may have also noticed his cape is red on the inside. There's 2 good reasons for that. First, because my good friend Shavuska did it first, and it made me realize how cool it looks. And second, once again connects to the theme of the story. His cape being red is meant to evoke Zorro, the very character whose movie young Bruce Wayne had just seen in the Monarch Theater with his parents the night they died. Dracula, a very gothic character who is also bat-themed, but most importantly, his cape being red evokes theater curtains. So, yeah, our version of Batman is one whose whole visual identity revolves around the theatrical. I'm still working on the pages, but when you finally get to see them, pay attention to details like the lighting and the backgrounds. You'll notice how these elements are also very influenced by theater and the whole general aesthetic of theater. I'd love to talk more about other details like the design for our antagonist, but I think it'll be cooler if you check him out for yourself once the comic is out, and I can't wait for you guys to check it out. Anyway, that's about it. Back to my artist's basement I go. Gustavo, back to you.
As for City of Gods, you have to wait even less. For the last months, we've been getting back on track to finally complete the comic. Now with the help of Lucas Pessoa, who made some incredible pin-ups and some in-universe posters to see along the story. Just like Theatum, I had plenty of space to talk about my process in the channel's first video, so now's the time to let Lucas Ribeiro, the artist, explain his inspirations for the project.
Hey, I'm Lucas from the channel Artist Dilemma, and I'm here to talk about the art of the comic City of Gods. Guzzo came to me showing this idea a bit more than a year ago. The idea was so good that I instantly loved it, especially because it's exactly the kind of story I like. For the art, from the very first moment, I knew what I wanted to do. Something very colorful, with vivid characters. And for this, my main inspirations were Greg Smallwood and the Brazilian colorist Matt Lopes. Smallwood was the main inspiration for the drawing style and stylization, and Matt Lopes for the colors, of course. Talking like a nerd right now, I decided to add contrast not only in the colors, but with the drawing too. So if you notice, the characters are usually less stylized in the background. I did that inspired by a pose of Greg Smallwood, where he showed the backgrounds of 101 Dalmatians from Disney, where the scenarios are usually very loose with color textures, but it's still defined enough to be able to understand what's going on with it.
Oh, and I'm happy to announce we've been making off type of video for the comic, so subscribe so you don't miss it. I can't tell you how proud I am of those stories and how excited I am for you to see them. But now, let me give you a first look at the projects I began working on because of this channel. I just reached 2K subs and this is still insane to me. But what really makes me the proudest is the fact that people from the craft, writers and mainly artists, truly connected to my work. And because of that, I met some people who were really willing to work with me. So, we prepared some stuff to show you. Kicking it off, I'll tell you, it is happening. I am making Spider-Man film stock. With the amazing response I received from the first video on the pitch, artist Ron Lucas reached out to me and asked if I'd like to collab with him on this one. And just by looking at his art, I knew he would be a perfect fit. His work is fantastic, and his Spider-Man is amazing. So you're in for a treat. We just began working on the comic, so we don't have a release date yet, but man, just by looking at his sketches, do I need to say more? This project is the firstborn child of this channel, and I promise you, I love to show you every step of it as we go on. In addition to this, another amazing artist I had the pleasure of meeting was Rodrigo Savio, who reached out to me giving me the freedom to choose any project I wanted for us to work on. And boy, he really unleashed a curse upon himself with this one. Our first project is also a Spider-Man story. A 2-page short story heavily inspired by my other favorite thing ever, the Beatles. The story is called A Hard Day's Night, and if you want to know more about it, I'll tell you, just look up the lyrics. Savio's work is amazing. Following it up, there are 3 more projects we're working on, all in real early stages. The second, an original horror/comedy piece called Night Ride, which is basically comedians in cars getting coffee, but the passengers are actually dead, and the driver is actually Death/the Green Reaper/the Karen as they drive to the realm of the dead, in a 20s or 30s pulp aesthetic. The third, a Ben 10 story, following a slightly more mature Ben Tennyson and Kevin Levin as they travel through the galaxy solving cases and eating donuts in a buddy cop style, but in space. It's like True Detective plus Miami Vice plus Grant Morrison's Green Lantern. And last but not least, a Superman story, which I can't tell you much about. Just know it is my last installment in my Trinity trilogy. Wait. What Trinity trilogy? Well, you know about Batman Theatum, and now you know about the Superman project. But there is something in between. Let me tell you about it. In my first video, I got this comment from this artist called Helena Wave, saying she'd love to work with me on a superhero comic. I didn't know her work yet, so I went to check her profile and... I was mesmerized by her art, not just by her style and technique, but by the worlds she created. Instantly, I knew I wanted to tell a story with a mythology and a fantasy flavor. Coincidentally, by that time, there was a game I was playing a lot.
Well, daughter of Hades, princess of the underworld.
Yeah, it will be a Wonder Woman story. But by then, I wasn't as familiar to the character as I was to Batman or Spider-Man per se. I was never a big fan of her depictions over the adaptations, with Wonder Woman 84 being my favorite version of Diana across all films and cartoons, and I am not joking. I always felt her characters seemed to be flat, like the Amazon warrior and Greek mythology aspect were everything she was, because that's literally the only thing those writers seem to be interested in, not to mention the stupid daughter of Zeus origin. She always felt off compared to Superman or Batman, because she lacked the superhero fantasy they had, but those bad adaptations didn't fool me. I knew she was more than that, and for like 2 months, all I read was Wonder Woman stories. And then... I get it. I finally understood the magic behind her character, and I understood exactly what those modern versions were lacking, at least from my point of view. Diana was always the daughter of two worlds. Yes, she was born and raised by her mother and sisters from Themyscira, but she also found a new home and a new family in the modern world, but never letting one side overshadow the other. Diana is an Amazon, but not a warrior. In the same way that yes, she was given life by the goddesses, but Hippolyta is her actual mother, not them. So she's not a demigoddess. Then what is she? When she comes to our world, she finally finds out what she really is, a superheroine. Culturally speaking, she is meant to be the perfect marriage between old mythology and modern mythology. Yes, her backstory reflects the old Greek gods, but also embracing the 20th century equivalent of a pantheon, the superheroes. Every Diana adaptation seems to be about the Amazon outsider coming to the man's world and how different she is from everybody else. Even when side by side to other heroes, she seems like an alien, and this alone says a lot when the heroes she stands with are actual aliens. Diana is meant to be the bridge between those worlds, not an Amazon that ended up on the man's world. She belongs to both worlds. She's the daughter of Gaia, daughter of life itself. I wanted to write a story that focused on the super side of Wonder Woman, not the outsider, so I want to flip it. I want to craft a story that is not about a Greek mythology outsider coming to the man's world, but actually a story about how contrasted she is to the Greek mythology once she embraces the superheroine side. The story is called Wonder Woman, To Whom It Belongs, and here's your first look at the Amazon princess herself, by the talented Helena. I wanted to be above anything else, my love letter to the character, while also making a point. Thematically, I wanted to be a rejection of everything the character came to be by the last decade. By facing Heracles, she faced a depiction of her own character which seems to be present in almost every modern adaptation, a warrior, a killer, and the daughter of Zeus. My vision for Diana is nothing like that. She is a superheroine, daughter of Hippolyta, made from clay and given life by the love of a longing mother and the powers of the goddesses, and Hermes. She does not kill if she can wound, she does not wound if she can subdue, she does not subdue if she can pacify, and she does not raise her hand until she first extended it. When I created this channel like 2 months ago, I said I wanted to be a record of my journey of trying to break into the industry, but because of it, I saw and opened doors that would never be in my path if not for the channel itself. I would like to thank every one of you who listens to what I have to say, but most of all, I thank every one of you who believes in me. Those artists are not charity workers, and if they're willing to take their time to build something with me knowing we won't earn a penny in the process, then I guess I'm doing something right with my craft. I really hope 2026 brings our first big break. I really love what I do, but I'll admit it, I'd love to earn that damn penny every once in a while. Feliz ano novo, amigos. Obrigado e tchau, tchau.